Jagmeet Singh is used to making people laugh, but there was nothing funny about what happened to him this past weekend at the airport in San Francisco. On Sunday, the comedian, whose stage name is Jus Reign, says that security officials told him to remove his turban, then afterwards made him walk through a public area before putting it back on. All of this had to happen before he was allowed to get on the airplane. It's the second time this month that a Sikh entertainer has been asked to remove his headwear. The actor Waris Ahluwalia, who is one of the stars in Biba Boys, Deepa Mehta's latest film, had a similar experience in Mexico. Jagmeet Singh is back home in Toronto and is on the line with us now. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. You're at the airport in San Francisco, and then what happens?
So I was at the airport, and I go through security and did one of those scanners, the full-body scans, where you have to do a kind of a freeze jumping jack pose. So I went through that, and then I did a pat-down, and a metal detector was ran over my turban. So everything cleared, and then at one point, one of the security officials told me that I needed to go into a room to get extra search done. And this is nothing new. This has happened to me before as well, where they pretty much just pat down your body and make sure you're not hiding anything in your cracks or anything like that. So I said, sure, yeah, we can do that. So as soon as I stepped into the private room, they told me that I had to remove my turban. Now, I wanted to catch my flight, and I didn't want anything else to delay that. So I told them, like, hey, listen, I would rather not remove my turban. If you guys could just do a pat down, like all of my other clothes, my turban, which is also cloth, and it's also been through X-ray and a metal detector, and it cleared. If you could just do a pat down there, that'd be cool with me.
Yeah.
And the security official told me that wouldn't be possible, so I said I'd like to speak to a manager. And so they said they'd go get the manager. It took a little bit of time for the manager to get there. I don't think it was urgent on their part, so it took a little bit of time for her to get there. And she essentially told me that I would have to remove my turban, and if I didn't want to, then I would be escorted back outside, and I could book a flight with another airline.
Have you ever been asked to remove your turban before when you've been flying?
No, I've never been asked to remove my turban before.
And so you did take it off?
I did take it off because I followed the protocol, and you know, I was trying to get home, and this was like, you know, at midnight in San Francisco, and I said, I just want to go home, so I'll cooperate with you guys. So I took off my turban, and they did the full search, and they put my turban in a bin and ran it through an X-ray, and obviously nothing came through. So they brought it back to the room, and essentially they're like, well, you're good to go. And so I asked them if I could get a mirror to tie my turban back on again, because it's not like a hat or a shoe where you can just put it on and, you know, be on your way. It takes time and you know, a little bit of effort to put on. So I asked for a mirror, and they said, you know, we don't carry any mirrors, and, you know, that wasn't their concern. Their main concern was the safety of the passengers. And once I had been cleared, like, that was it. Like, it wasn't their responsibility to give me a mirror.
And so they said go down the hall to the washroom.
Right. So one of the officials was like, you know, there's a bathroom on the other side of the terminal. You can just go down there and tie it. So I think my main concern was, like, if you took me into a private room and asked me to remove my turban in a private area, why make me go out again without my turban on and walk down the terminal to a public bathroom so I could tie it on again?
Just for people who may not understand this, what to you and what to Sikhs would be so upsetting about going through this public area to retie your turban?
Yeah, I mean, it's an embarrassing ordeal. You know, luckily it happened to someone like me, which I'm comfortable with. You know, I've had videos on my YouTube where I've shown how to tie a turban, so my hair's been shown, and, you know, I'm comfortable in that skin. But there's a lot of people that aren't, and they value the turban very highly, and it's an embarrassing ordeal for them, because I remember Waris Ahluwalia saying something similar. It's like asking someone to remove their underwear in public. It's you know, it's the same when it comes to the turban. And so, you know, it's like asking to be undressed in a room and then being forced to exit to go to a bathroom to dress up again. It's a really embarrassing and kind of really insensitive ordeal for a lot of Sikh men.
You mentioned Waris, and this is the second time that this has happened in a short span of time. What do you think's going on here?
I'm really not sure. It seems like that same tension and that same paranoia that was a result that happened directly after 9/11 seems to be stemming up again. And I know a bunch of my friends and even certain colleagues that I've met that have gone through similar situations. I know a lot of my friends that don't even wear turbans to the airport just to avoid this whole, you know, kind of this whole ordeal. It's a situation that seems to be stemming or kind of occurring more and more and more. And that's someone that travels a lot. I don't want to have to be given the choice. Like, I don't want to have to be given the option of, hey, I should not wear a turban to the airport so I can feel more comfortable, or so I can go through this process a little bit better, that's not something that anybody should have to deal with, especially when it comes to their article of clothing. Yeah.
The reaction to this has been interesting because a lot of people have been upset and outraged by this. There are other people, and you've been commenting to them on Twitter. One said, I was asked to remove my shoes, quit complaining. I get asked to take off my hat all the time. What's the big deal? How do you respond to people who say stuff like that?
Well, the thing is, there's no education when it comes to this kind of stuff. A turban is not a shoe, and it's not a hat. Like I said, a hat you can take off, put it back on very easily. A turban takes time to retie. It takes a lot of effort to get back on again properly. And sometimes, in some cases, it takes 5 to 10 minutes to put it back on again. So it's not like where you can just kind of plop on a shoe or plop on a hat. It takes a lot of time and effort. And I think the main concern that I have is that these agents and these security, the TSA or whoever that was in charge at the San Francisco airport, they don't have that proper education or that training to kind of allow or for people that wear a turban or anybody that wears a hijab or a niqab to be comfortable in putting it back on, and they don't have those resources. I mean, after I was done being searched, it was kind of like I was given the attitude that it's not our problem anymore. Like, you should go out and tie it. Like, it's not our issue. Like, our issue was safety, and you're not our concern anymore. So that's not a way that people that wear a turban or wear any religious headgear should be kind of treated after they've been searched. It's very demeaning and it's very demoralizing. So, I mean, that's the main concern that I think is the problem. Like, there's no proper education when it comes to, or sensitive training when it comes to these specific security protocols.
All right, we'll leave it there. It's good to talk to you about this.
Absolutely, yes.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Jasmeet Singh, a Canadian comedian, talking about being asked to remove his turban before boarding a plane in San Francisco.